I
So it
just had
makes
my
you
hair
think of
cut really like in a bob, but I'm actually really loving it.
Yes.
Right.
No, it
So
looks
I'm really happy with it. So
beautiful.
So that's been my big thing. Get a haircut, people. Instead. I am so excited to welcome everyone to the Staying Alive and Rich podcast. In today's episode, I have the most beautiful acupuncturist in Melbourne. Yes, I'm biased, but I admit to that, Miss Ilana Sowter, and we are going to talk about all things natural beauty. So ditch the Botox, girls, because there are alternatives and you guys need to hear what they're all about. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you are here with me today because you and I talk about natural beauty in our sessions all the time.
Absolutely.
And you've definitely converted me somewhat. I'm not going to lie, I'm not all there, but I would say I'm 70% there.
Yes.
And the results have been incredible. And we've spoken about we've spoken about doing this podcast for a little while now, and
Absolutely.
how more and more women are becoming more and more interested in
Yes.
alternatives to some of the harsher things that we're doing to ourselves to
That's
say
right.
youthful. So I'm going to start with you introducing yourself to us because I know a lot about you, but I want the audience to hear what your background is, and what you do, and how you got into the realm of natural beauty.
Great. So thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. My name's Ilana, and I got into Chinese medicine because my mother was very sick. She had multiple sclerosis. So that was an inspiration for me, and she used to take us to the naturopath when we were little. And although my first degree, I studied science and zoology, I somehow got back into the natural medicine thing and was inspired to study acupuncture, and then I did a master's in Chinese Herbal Medicine. And for me, and I guess because I am quite a masculine woman, so that has inspired me to really access my feminine energy because I was too busy. I was working all the time, even though I was very healthy. Yes, I was busy, working all the time, doing everything, not resting enough.
Yeah.
And my cup was empty.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's when I did begin to learn about feminine energy. And having said that, I've been practicing Chinese medicine for 15 years and helping women with their fertility and health. And probably when I hit my late 30s, that's when I personally noticed, because I'm very blessed, I've always had really good skin. But I noticed that my face was changing. I felt like my skin was sagging a bit, that I just didn't have that glow that I always had. And that was when I started, and I would have never considered Botox or anything, but I started to go, I don't like this. Like, what am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
And luckily for me, I was able to do extra training in cosmetic acupuncture and learn about the tissues and how we can internally and externally support the skin on the face to have more chi and vibrancy.
Yeah, which goes back to that kind of feminine and masculine energy, doesn't
Yes.
it? Doesn't it?
Yes.
And you and I have spoken a lot because Ilana is also my actual acupuncturist. So I see her for my health issues
well-being.
and my well-being
Yes.
issues. Great with the hormones. just saying. And I've been seeing Ilana, I think, for nearly a year. I think I started seeing her earlier this year. And honest to God, it's been transformative in terms of my health. And her approach is one of holistic. And because her background in Chinese medicine is so prolific, being able to see someone that can not just look at you from a superficial sense, but also look at you from every aspect, from your emotional well-being to your physical well-being, and ultimately, your skin.
Yes.
Because it all plays a part, doesn't it?
It all plays a part, and even in ancient Chinese traditions, there's face reading. Like, your face, the shape of your face and the colours and how your skin looks has internal well, it has metaphysical meaning about your personality, but also the health of your internal organs.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you said you were working really hard and you were juggling kids and work and business and all those things that a lot of us women do today.
That's right.
And that's kind of more on that masculine side of things because women tend to just kind of we're problem solving creatures. We get in, get the job done, and keep going.
Yes, because working is masculine nature.
Yeah.
But so is mothering, because even though we need to be feminine to connect with our children, to look after them, make sure they don't hurt themselves, make sure they get all their needs met. It's very masculine because it's goal driven. You have to make sure they're looked after. So, so we do have a lot of masculine pressure these days as women.
Yeah. And that ends up manifesting in our skin drooping. I know when I came to see you, I'm like, oh my God, Ilana, like I feel like I've aged, I'm not liking. And then you were the one that said, well, why don't we try some facial acupuncture, which I'd heard about and I'd read about, but I kind of was a bit like, is this another gimmick?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you explained to me like it's such a great alternative to Botox, even though it doesn't give you that kind of instantaneous result. It actually works on a deeper level and I remember you saying, please correct me if I'm wrong, I remember you saying to me it actually works at strengthening your muscle and your tissue underneath.
That's right.
So I've actually got a photo to prove that I've had this done and I'm a bit trepidatious about sharing it because I'm half naked in it, but it was a great experience because at the time you were not only working on my face, but you were also working on the rest of me as well, which is the beauty about what you do. Can you run us through the benefits of an acupuncture facial?
Yes. So what I love about facial acupuncture is it's very holistic. So I always do a back and neck release because obviously the circulation needs to come up to the face with the gua sha tool, the traditional. And then, I will give a tailored acupuncture treatment so that people's energies are being balanced, whether their spleen chi is out of balance or the kidney, whatever needs support. Yeah. And I do love when I'm doing the treatment, I love putting the LED on the abdomen because that's just supporting your energy to go up and warm the body while we're working with the face. Yeah. And then, the facial acupuncture is very tailored and it has a lot of benefits. It improves circulation. It increases collagen production. It can move stagnation as well. So obviously over years, if we're frowning a lot or whatnot, sometimes you might get a little bruise or some when the needles go in, sometimes it's sore or it feels stuck. And that's because we would say there wasn't enough circulation going to your face, according to your health or a certain frown or look that you do. So it is very holistic. And when people have regular treatments, it affects their spirit because in Chinese medicine, the Shen, the spirit, is reflected in the face. So if you have a clear, radiant complexion, you have a clear spirit within. And, we would say if people have serious mental health issues in Chinese medicine, it's called Shen disturbance, but you can see in the face because they might not look clearly at you or they're troubled. Yeah. And so the amazing thing with these treatments is although we're healing and improving energy and the vibrancy of the face, it has a effect within because, as philosophy goes, so within, so without.
Yes. It's so true. I know when I first when you did the first acupuncture treatment on me, facial acupuncture treatment, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. I thought, how's this going to work? Because I'm used to having acupuncture on my body, so I kind of that's like not a big deal. But on my face, I was like, how is this going to work? Is it going to be painful? What have you? And it was actually super relaxing. In fact, I remember falling asleep. There was one little needle that I remember you took out. It's like, oh, that one's a bit sore. You did mention. it's a little bit of stagnant energy. And then the second treatment I did after that, it was fantastic. And I really did feel, looking at myself even a week or two later, not that I love myself, but I could really see.
You love yourself.
I do love myself in the right way. I could actually see a softness about my face, which, I think spending a lot of time working and a lot of time like super focused and concentrating. And
we get a hardness.
You do get a hardness, and I'm around men. So,
you're around a lot of masculine energy.
I'm around a lot of masculine energy. So, I'm frowning a lot. So it was like, a week and a half later, even my oldest, I'm like, oh, Mum, you look like you've had a really good sleep.
Oh, bless him.
Yes,
that
thank
is
you.
adorable.
Yeah.
I love that.
But there's been a massive kind of trend now for facials, like acupuncture facial.
That's
and I know you
right.
also do cupping facials.
Yes. And the gua sha, Cecily Braden, yeah.
And you recently were trained in doing some vocal facials.
Oh, that was the Cecily Braden.
Yes. So they're really big in LA. I haven't had that done yet.
Really? Yes.
But I am tempted to do that. And they're the ones, for those of you that don't know what a vocal facial is. Actually, I might get Ilana to explain. She'll explain it better than me. What's a vocal facial?
Yes. So obviously buccal comes from the Latin word, bocca, mouth. So it's all about massaging the internal. So it's an internal massage where you use gloves and you get in, and you can do lots of things. You can sculpt the lips, or you can pull the tension out from the, the sides of the mouth where there gets a lot, like the TMJ area. Yeah, and it actually has a profound effect, because what happens is we just get so stressed and all our face gets tight and almost the muscles move inwards.
Yeah.
And so when we do the buccal massage, it just brings all the energy out, and people's cheeks just pop out.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't had that. That's the next one. That's on the to-do list.
Yes,
yeah.
Love it.
I've seen it. I've seen stuff on YouTube on it, and I've seen it on I don't know which show it was, but I have seen someone doing it on one of the Netflix shows that I watched a little while ago. And I remember like, having someone stick their hands in your mouth, like that's feels like, why would you do that? But apparently I've also heard, not just from yourself, but another woman that does the I pronounced it wrong earlier, buccal, is that buccal,
yes.
Facial, she said the same thing. It actually changes the way you look.
And people do love it, because when I do it, I really try to tailor my facials according to the individual's needs. But when I do it, some women are like, oh my God, I just feel amazing, like all the tension's just left my face. And they request it.
Yeah, there you go. Which leads me to, you can see now why more and more women are turning to natural ways to preserving not only their youth but their health, because what you're offering and people like you that are in that holistic space is a holistic approach to beauty.
Yes.
It's not, go and have something injected in your face, which there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
There is nothing wrong with that.
Whatever good for you.
Everyone's different,
Absolutely.
But knowing, that there are alternatives out there, and they're possibly easier to explore, and will give you other benefits as well.
Yes, so we're getting holistic health benefits, because I suppose when you have Botox and fillers, which is fine, it's more so just puffing the face up, or it's relaxing the tendons and the ligaments. And that's why long term, if you get loads of Botox, it can damage them, because you're weakening them over time.
Yeah.
Whereas with this treatment, we're actually strengthening, like we strengthen the ligaments and the motor points so that they become stronger and activate the muscles rather than numb them.
Yeah. And how does that work when you have, say, for example, lines around your eyes, or because one of the biggest reasons why people go and have Botox is because they want the lines removed, and it is instantaneous. It's not like, when I say instantaneous, it doesn't happen straight away, but it does happen within the week that you've had it done.
Right.
You know, so how does alternative treatments help with wrinkles and softening of the lines?
Yeah, so ultimately the lines are in the fascia, and the fascia is like that capsule that keeps the muscle together.
Yeah.
So so when we are doing our treatments, we will use the needles or like the gua sha tools to get into the fascia, which is that very superficial layer.
Yeah.
So the softer and more superficial, the more effective it is.
So the fascia, sorry, not to cut you off.
Yes.
But the fascia, just so people understand, the fascia is like a mesh that runs through your whole body.
It's like
right?
a sausage casing.
That
keeps everything together.
Yeah, because I have heard sports medicine people talk about the fascia in the legs or what have you. So it's everywhere. It's all over.
It's everywhere. And so, for example, yin yoga is really good for your fascia because you stretch in these positions for 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that really releases the fascia.
Yeah. Sorry, I just got you off track there.
I will remember what I want to say. Oh, but the interesting fact is, according to traditional Chinese face reading, you see lines have benefit depending where they are. So, for example, the ones on those frown lines aren't so good because they represent you have a lot of anger and frustration.
Yeah.
So, we want to get rid of those.
Yeah.
But, for example, the lines at the top of above the eyelid, they represent the joy in your life. So if you get rid of those, you can actually get rid of joy. And there were some really interesting examples. Once Madonna had a concert, and before the concert, she got loads of Botox and got rid of all her lines, and the whole thing flopped. So that's how they would say energetically how it affects you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I never thought about that.
Yeah. And the forehead lines represent the wisdom.
Okay.
So if you've got a complete forehead line, that means you've learnt your lesson. But if it's broken, you're yet to learn the lesson. But if you erase them all, you might have to relearn the lessons in life again.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
It's interesting. So I guess for me, the treatment is almost about not erasing everything, but it's complementing. Like, it's making your skin so beautiful and radiant that you just look like the gorgeous woman that you are.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like, I don't want to blame social media for it. I feel like there is this constant, cat chasing its tail at a particular point in one's life where, you're trying to, recapture your old self and, you might see a photo of yourself and go, oh, wow, I look so fresh and vibrant. What's happened to me?
Yes.
And then we go searching for ways to recapture what we look like.
It's true, yeah.
I feel like there's also at the same time there's been this massive push for natural beauty, which I'm loving at the moment.
Yes.
And there's been some great influencers that are kind of going, hey, you know what? I'm not going to go down that pathway. I love who I am. And like Andy McDowell, the actress, and Justine Bateman, and there's a lot of celebrities now going, you know what, this is who we are. We've had children, we've worked, we've had a life, and we're not going to, we're embracing that. And they're just as beautiful. In fact, I personally believe the expression and the joy, as you said, you can see it in their face, and it's actually quite endearing. And I think it's
attractive.
And it's attractive. I personally think it's more attractive than having too much stuff in your face.
It is, and it is so interesting because it's almost like we women get distracted on what we believe is beautiful. I don't know whether we're doing it for ourselves or for men, but men often love women who don't wear hardly any makeup, just look really natural. They find that really attractive.
Yeah, which is nice because it's your true energy that comes through.
Yes.
And I feel like you can see that when you're kind of putting when you're putting all sorts of stuff on your face or doing these really abrasive treatments and you kind of change the way you look. I've had people in my life that have completely changed the way they look over time from various treatments.
Yes.
Some of them look great. Some of them look a bit scary, not going to lie.
Yes.
So I'm like, wow.
It's so interesting. It's so interesting that you say that, because at the moment in astrology we're in Venus retrograde, and this is a period where it goes for about 2 months. But if you make a drastic change to your appearance, like a nose job, or you change your hairstyle or something, you can be really displeased with it.
Oh, really? I just had my hair cut really like in a bob, but I'm actually really loving it.
Yes.
Right.
No,
So I'm really happy with it. So
that's beautiful.
So that's been my big thing. Get a haircut, people. Instead. That's a big change.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So
Yes.
so you integrate. So if I was to come, if someone was to come to see you at this point with the retrograde, would you then perform a facial that would complement where they're at?
I wouldn't. What's the word? I wouldn't encourage anything very drastic. But I guess the good thing about my treatment is because it's holistic. We're just really working with you, and we're just going to bring out, focus on the areas for you that feel good and look good, and it's just you. You're already you. I'm not really changing anything. Yeah.
So let's talk us through one of your treatments. So I've had the acupuncture facial, and it is quite relaxing and beautiful. And I can honestly say Ilana spends a lot of time making sure that, I'm comfortable and that it's a nice, relaxing procedure. I come out of there feeling literally like a new woman.
Yes.
But just so the audience knows, because for those people that haven't had an acupuncture facial or a Bocal facial or a gua sha facial or a cupping facial, because there's all these sorts of different facials, and you can have them all. But can you run us through the process?
Yes. So I might talk about some of the favorite things that I love about the facials, because I must say I really enjoy doing it and learning the different techniques.
Yeah.
So with the gua sha, the Cecily Braden training that I did was really great, because they have this amazing, it's called the dark green jade nephrite tool, and it's this beautiful big tool, and it's very grooved, and you can use it to really get into the SCLM up here and on the side of the neck up and down, and I love doing that, because I just feel like so many women have so much tension in their neck, and that really blocks the energy flow and the blood flow to the face.
So if your neck is blocked, for example, I use myself as a guinea pig. I'm in front of the computer all day. So when I see you, I know this is super
and
tight.
the tech neck, right?
Yeah,
that is really bad, because you've got all these extra kilos of your head pulling your face down and aging it. So we really have to bring our screens and phones up.
Yeah. But you work on that to release that.
To release it. And it just amazes me, because always when I do it on women, they're like, oh my God, that feels so good. And it's a bit sore, but I can just, and we get what we call the sha. When you do traditional cupping and gua sha, just on the neck, not on the face, but it will go red. You'll get the little petrichiae, which are the little red dots. They look like hickeys, and that is basically the inflammation and tension coming to the surface that's been locked in there for so long.
Oh, wow.
So I love doing that, because it's satisfying for me as a practitioner. But, because it makes the patient feel really good.
Yeah. And I must say, after your treatment, when you initially walk out, there is this gorgeous glow that hangs around for a while. It's not it's different to any other facial you've had. You know, it is different, because, and I don't know, and it must be because you work so hard at getting all this loose, and whether that adds to the glow along with everything else that you do.
Yeah, but the acupuncture for the body.
Yeah, 100%. You mentioned Cecily Braden a couple of times.
Yes.
Who is that, and why? Who is that, and why did you do training with her?
I guess I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I love she's done a specific training for facials with the gua sha, and she's quite renowned. She's from the UK, but she's in New York.
Okay.
And she was coming to Australia, so I thought, look, I've got to do it. And and look, I am really glad that I did, because it was it was quite profound, actually, the way they understand the lymph, for example, the lymph system. And that's something that I'm really learning a lot about, even though I've studied biology and human bio. But the lymph system is actually bigger than the circulatory system. And obviously when we get puffiness and fluid retention, that represents, the stagnation in the lymph. And obviously is very important for looking good, because, if your complexion is relatively smooth and circulating well, then your lymph is healthy.
Yeah, yeah.
And that fascinates me too, because we don't really talk about lymphatic health or
No, we
whatnot.
don't. Conventional
Yes.
beauty, you kind of go to the beauty therapist, have a facial. They might
Yes.
ask you what type of skin you have, what was your
Yes.
last facial, and then, they give you a beautiful massage and maybe a gorgeous mask, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like if, it is a beautiful, relaxing experience, but no one
Yes.
really kind of looks at beauty from that perspective, which, you and I spoke just before this podcast. Beauty is a holistic thing. Okay. I know if I haven't been exercising, if I haven't been drinking enough
Yes.
water, if I haven't been
Yes.
eating right,
That's right.
it will show on my face. It will show on my
Or
face.
if you've had a lot of stress.
If you've
or
had a lot of
emotional
stress.
processing.
Yeah, it shows on your face. And I feel like we love the holistic approach to alternative facials because they are complementary to everything else that we're doing, regardless whether you're seeing an acupuncturist or a naturopath or whatever. It's all about being holistic. Now, there are
Yes.
those that, get a little bit of Botox or,
Yes.
and still want to keep that going, and there's nothing wrong with that. Can, if a patient or a client is coming to see you and they've just had some Botox or filler, can they still have an acupuncture facial or a Bocal facial or what have you?
Yeah, I would say wait at least 4 weeks, because obviously we don't want to just disrupt the newly applied fillers and Botox. And always the best time to have your, holistic facial treatment would be at the end of the Botox cycle. So
Whatever that is
a few
for
weeks,
you.
2 or 3 weeks before you're about to have your next lot
Yeah.
is definitely, when they come, and that's safe.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to disrupt and move the Botox around in the face or
No, because
Yes.
that could end up being a bit disastrous, can't it?
no, we don't. We have to be very cautious.
Is there a particular facial that you would recommend for people, like say for example, for people that have Botox, and then there are those that just have fillers, right? Is there different facials that would work together with and complement them that you would recommend?
Yeah, well, ultimately, these holistic facials, they are tailored to the individual. So, I mean, some women might just get a little bit of, actually, a lot of women will just get a little bit of Botox. Like they might just get some on the forehead or the sides or something. So, what I would usually do in that case is I just avoid that area.
Okay.
So, we just avoid where they've had that treatment.
If someone's had fillers, because I know lip fillers are like a massive trend on our. I mean, our office is in South Melbourne and Port Melbourne. There's a lot of lip.
Yes.
There's
There
a lot
is,
of lip
isn't
in
there?
Port Melbourne.
Absolutely.
If someone's just had their lips freshly done and they wanted to get a Bocal facial, because you
Yes.
did say it's
yes.
would you, how long would they have to wait after they get their lips done?
Oh, probably 2 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, luckily, because, you're in control and I can massage around it. But yeah, you just want to be waiting a few weeks
Yeah.
for that.
that one.
And just avoiding directly touching the area.
Yeah. What about other treatment like laser and chemical peels and all those other kind of
Same.
conventional?
Probably about 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let the skin heal and then.
Yeah, and it's an interesting topic too, because I was speaking to a an amazing beautician. She's like a beauty scientist of 20 years, Andrea Scott. And she was saying she really doesn't like those invasive treatments like the microdermabrasion. She says it takes off the whole layer of the skin, which, you know, the skin is obviously a protective barrier. And even the very harsh peels because, you know, they're quite damaging. And I feel that's what this movement is all about. We can be gentle and cherishing and comfortable and still get really great results and look good without the, you know, the awkwardness of being in pain and suffering and stressing ourselves.
Yeah, look, I've had a few treatments, and I'm going to say what they are, that have been, let's just say, not that healing, you know, and what it's those treatments that you walk out and you go, okay, now where do I hide for the next week?
Yes.
And look, I think I've done the full circle, and as I'm getting older and maturing, if you want to call it that, I'm finding less is more.
Yeah. Yes.
And, you know, including with, you know, with topical creams as well, I'm finding the less stuff I put, the better I feel and my skin feels as well. And I feel like that's a good philosophy for everything. But in particular, we get so bombarded in the beauty industry, and I definitely do through Casper Magazine, get samples sent to me all the time. And, you know, look, granted, a lot of them are fantastic, but I'm a very basic chick. You know, I cleanse.
Yeah, what's your skincare routine?
My skincare routine's super basic. After seeing you, I have implemented the gua sha. So I do that a couple of times. And like, especially on when I have been stressed, I've been working really hard. I have gotten into the habit of, you know, doing my neck and, you know, under my eyes.
Great.
I've also found another tool which I love. I used to do this. Oh, I've been doing this for a while, I'm not going to lie, but now they've actually created a product. So it's called Ice in Your Face. Oh, yes. So I used to like buy icy pole holders and fill them with water and would use it on my face in the morning, and it just gives you like this red bright glow. And now there's a woman that's created an ice thing for your face. But honestly, like, just go and get yourself an icy pole holder. It's way cheaper and it does the trick. And I will do that.
How long do you do that for?
I'll do it for about depending if I'm really puffy, like if I've had something that's quite salty, or if I've had a big night or what have you. Recently I had some dental work done, so I was quite puffy around the jaw. So I did it. So I'll do it for about a minute, and it's actually quite relaxing. I'll just go all over the face. So that's kind of my my routine. So a good cleanser, a good little massage with either the gua sha or the ice block, and then I've got a nighttime serum and a daytime serum and a moisturizer. That's it, and they're pretty much the same. The moisturizer at night is probably a bit thicker because I'm, you know, a lot more now that I'm getting a bit older, and it's winter too. I wear something that's a bit heavier, and then in the morning it's the same moisturizer but a little bit lighter, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
I see you every 6 weeks.
Yes.
You know, that makes a big difference as well.
Yes.
But it's not just about what we put on topically, is it?
No.
So from your perspective as a holistic therapist, as a Chinese medicine therapist, and it's been doing this for a long time and studied the body and how it works, inclusive of digestion and our blood and our energy, you know, we've got a lovely plate of fruit in front.
So healthy.
I know, in front of us. What are the top 5 things that you would recommend to everyone about you keeping the skin in top shape at any age?
Yeah, look, definitely getting to bed before or by 10 p.m.
Sleep.
Every hour before midnight is equivalent to 2 hours sleep.
Oh, really?
The golden hours, yes. The longer we stay up, because the body starts regenerating at night. So if we're awake, we miss out on regeneration of the organs.
Yeah.
So that is very important.
So get to bed before 10.
That's right. Especially in the winter.
Yeah.
Chinese medicine, they say get to wake up a bit later and go to bed earlier in the winter because our chi is deep in the body because that's the season, just like the trees, they hibernate and so do we.
Yeah.
Drinking filtered water with a pinch of Celtic sea salt is plenty of that, is very good, and for the lymph system and hydrating the body. Eating plenty of fresh food, fruits and vegetables, and seasonal. In winter, we're in winter in the Southern Hemisphere, but it's a time for soups and stews, chai latte, just warming the body, keeping it hydrated. I do find having a good skincare routine is important, twice a day.
What's yours?
So what I do, I don't cleanse in the morning because the night before, and I sleep on a silk pillow, the night before, my face has got all my serum and skincare, so I don't really need it. I've just been in bed.
Yeah.
And I don't want to wash off all that beautiful serum with cleanser or dry it out again.
Yeah.
So I'll usually every second day I'll do something, whether some cupping or gua sha, and sometimes the derma roller. The derma roller is very good.
Actually, that's another one I've been using. Excuse me, once a week.
Do you like that?
I do. I find that from a textural perspective, my skin texture is a lot better since I started using that.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I find that, so the interesting thing is the cosmetic acupuncture is very good for more structural, like it can really lift your eyebrows and, lift, your cheeks and whatnot. But the derma roller really improves the quality of the surface skin.
Yeah, it does.
The microcirculation.
Yeah. It absolutely. I have absolutely noticed. Even some light pigmentation that I had on my left side of my face is starting to dissipate.
Amazing.
And look, I'm pretty convinced that it's a derma roller because it's the only kind of added tool that I do once a week, maybe twice, but, once a week for sure.
The derma roller is very good for pigmentation, and especially you can use a vitamin C, like a high-quality vitamin C serum that will support breaking up the pigmentation. And in Chinese medicine, pearl powder, you can use pearl powder like masks and creams and things.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Pearl, where do you get that from?
I just got it from my organic supplier.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is a bit fiddly. That's the thing as well. When you're busy, like mixing up the pearl and the powder.
It's worth it though.
It is, it is.
It's worth
the complexion.
Well, I remember growing up as a kid, my mum used to do these yeast face masks and egg face mask. The egg face mask, actually, there's a whole product range out with using it, and that does work. That does actually work. Like, just a bit of not egg yolk, the egg white, and you put that on your face and let it dry, and then you kind of rub it off, and it does.
My nonna did that for me when I sprained my ankle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And it did. It helped with the fluid, the inflammation.
It took it away.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. Well, some of these things, you know what?
Yes.
Like I think we're kind of slowly going back to some of those things that we grew up with or had heard about and what have you. Like cucumbers are always going to be good for your eyes, for your puffy eyes. I don't care what anyone says.
Because they're cooling. And it's interesting how you were mentioning the ice roller earlier because in Chinese medicine, it's almost cultural, but they hate cold. Like there's these ancient texts like the Shang Han Lun, the treatise on cold damage, and they talk about how the cold damages the body. So, for example, Chinese medicine practitioners hate icing and things like that.
Really?
Yeah, because we say it stops the circulation long term. Like if you over ice and you prevent all the blood cells from getting to the area, which, it causes numbness and long-term porous circulation.
That's so contra to what this whole icing thing is
And
about,
the Hoffman,
especially
the
and the
ice
Hoff and the
baths,
ice
yes.
and the ice baths and what have you,
Yes.
because their whole philosophy is it's bringing all the blood to the cells to like because it's causing almost like a mini trauma.
That's right.
So it's
That's
rushing
right.
all the blood to the cells.
Yes.
So it's causing like a reaction. So all the anti-inflammatories going. So it's actually supposed to be very healing. But in Chinese medicine, it's quite the opposite. It's like you're stopping it.
Yeah, and I believe it's okay if you're doing it in alternation with heat. Like if you're really warm, just like the Scandinavians do. They get really hot in the sauna, then they jump in the ice bath, because if you have the alternation of heat and cold, then that's okay. That can actually be a really good way to move a lot of stuck energy in the body. But if you're already cold and then you're icing your face, it's not good. And for women who are menstruating, like you're losing, or people that are bleeding and weak, they shouldn't be icing or having a lot of cold, because it makes your chi weaker. It slows the circulation. And we want to promote a healthy balance of circulation.
Because ultimately, if we feel good on the inside, it shows on the outside, right?
It does, yeah. And, you know, like in a lot of traditional Asian cultures, they always drink warm water. Have you noticed?
Yes.
And that's because the theory is that the digestive system is like pipes. So you're constantly cleaning it out. Whereas if you put cold in, what happens if you put cold water in the pipes? Everything sticks.
Yes.
And then the villi can't absorb as well and whatnot.
That's interesting. Never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
I just can't drink cold anymore because my teeth are sensitive as I'm getting older.
Yes,
So
you need cod liver oil.
Cod liver oil.
Yeah, half a teaspoon a day. It remineralizes teeth and bones.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Tips. Tips on beauty and cod liver oil.
Yes.
There you go. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't like the taste of it.
Get flavoured.
You can get flavoured cod liver oil. Okay. All right. That's actually a really good tip.
It is. It's very good for your health.
Someone else said that to me just recently.
Really?
Yeah,
The universe is.
Yeah, the universe. The universe. Yes. So just to recap.
Yes.
For those of you that are seeking alternative ways of staying fresh, youthful, and feeling great, absolutely look into acupuncture facials, Bokol facials, gua sha facials, cupping facials, or just go and see Ilana. She'll sort you out. For those of you that are a bit kind of on the skeptical side but want to give it a go, but, you know, still want to do a little bit of the other stuff, then that's okay too. Absolutely. Take Ilana's advice and just wait to the end of your Botox or your other treatments, your conventional treatments, and go towards the end of it. Or, of course, let your practitioner know when you had it last. And you know, the other things that we can all do without actually having any treatment is get to bed before 10.
Yes.
Drink lots of water. All right.
Yes.
Eat healthy. Exercise.
And have some time for your feminine energy. An hour a day.
And that doesn't exclude men either, because all of us have got.
Need it. Men need to kind of sit down and switch off so they can start generating regenerating testosterone.
That's right. So it's all about balance. It's all about balancing the chi energy, isn't it?
Yes, it's all about balance, because balance brings us joy.
That's right. Ilana, such a pleasure to have you here with me today.
It's been wonderful.
Thank you for sharing all your insights on this. I'm super excited. I can't wait to see you for my next facial, actually.
Yes,
I should have come and seen you for this one, so I'm a bit more glowy, but that's okay.
Yes, no, you're looking great.
But yeah, thank you so much for imparting all your wisdom on all things Chinese medicine and beauty. We are going to have Ilana's details on our website, but if you want to follow Ilana, and I strongly suggest that you do, because she's got she shares awesome hot tips on her Instagram account, and that's at Dr. Ilana Sowter Official. Or jump on her website if you want to make an appointment and see Ilana for any health issues or facial issues or no issues. You just want to go and check out and just kind of do a bit of rebalancing and keep yourself in check.
Yes.
Jump on her website, ilanasowter.com. All the details will be on our website, and let us know what you think. And last question, Ilana, before I let you go. How do you stay alive and rich?
How do I stay alive and rich? Stay alive, that for me, that means conscious. To be conscious, actively conscious in myself. And rich makes me think of wealth. Wealth equals freedom plus health.
Ah, nice one. I like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for having me. I love your energy. I love your magazine and everything that you're doing. So
Thank you.
I'm really proud of you.
Oh, thank you.